You ever think about what Blastoise would taste like? Probably probably like wet turtle. It was good, y'all. Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. So, within the last couple of days, we did have our most recent Pokemon Presents for July. And I can't sit here and lie to y'all, that was kind of whatever. I think a lot of our expectations for that one were a little high because they announced it like damn near 2 months prior. So we were thinking they were going to announce something major because they had us actually actively waiting on it hand and foot. Especially when, under normal circumstances, even for like an impromptu Pokemon Presents, we only get the information about it like a couple of days prior, not an entire 2 months. This was extremely irregular. So I have to imagine a lot of us walked away from that feeling kinda similar. They definitely announced a couple of things, and there's really not much more to say on that subject. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. This is probably gonna be a lot closer to an angry rant than a nuanced discussion. Now, I do have a couple of actual proper discussions planned. However, I just needed to get this off my chest. As you can see from the title and thumbnail, I'm a little miffed. I'm just a little annoyed because what in the hell were some of these announcements? So just go ahead, completely burn the box and toss away the ashes because you already know the drill by now. You don't need to look at the back. Sit down, get cozy, grab a nice cool glass of water, maybe a little snack, maybe some garlic butter that you can slather on your ice cream while we talk about my growing concern for spin-off titles when it comes to modern Pokemon. Now, don't get it twisted. I am fully aware that this is very dramatic and probably very early, considering the fact that we have an entire 30th anniversary year to look forward to, where we could potentially be getting more better spin-off titles and stuff like that. But as of right now, I don't know. The entire concept is just not sitting pretty with me. Because what in the hell is Pokemon Friends? The crazy thing to me is that something like Pokemon Friends sounds like it could have been like the perfect Pokemon of me in your pocket type situation. Maybe you open up the app, maybe you brush your Pokemon, wash them or whatever, let them do a couple of sports or whatever, do something fun, do something fun with your friends, quote unquote. This mobile game, utilizing this title, is a puzzle game. A very simple puzzle game. And again, I know that Pokemon is generally geared toward a younger audience. This is definitely one of those fine motor skill type games where they're kind of testing the kid's brain every day and really just putting it to work every day to, get them used to that kind of thinking, puzzle solving and things along those lines. And the idea in of itself, not bad, it's fine in concept, but it just kind of seems like a lot of lost potential with that, right? Because now this is it. This is Pokemon Friends. This is the extent of that. What, was PokeBrain already copyrighted or something? We couldn't use something a tad more fitting for the situation? See, this may just sound like baseless slander, but I have played a little bit of this game. Maybe something is lost on me based on the initial intro to the game. It's basically somebody realizing their dream to make Pokemon plushies, and that's cute, that's fine and all, but what does that have to do with making friends with Pokemon at all? Essentially, the idea here is that we're doing these puzzles to activate our brains so that we could properly untangle the yarn that we need to make these plushies so that we could decorate our room. A simple enough concept, nothing too outrageous, fine, whatever. My two major problems with this title is, one, what I mentioned earlier with it not really having anything to do with its own title, and two, that it either costs an absurd amount of time or an absurd amount of money to continue playing. After the initial tutorial and the first free puzzle barrage that you do, you have to wait 12 hours to do anything else. Like, really? One a day? That's nothing. You can get these done in literally under 2 minutes, and that's your entire day. You can't even think about it until tomorrow. Now, naturally, there is a workaround to this. A way in which you can play as much as you want. Earn as much yarn and make as many plushies as you want. For 10 entire dollars, you can play as much as you want. And on top of that, they have other packs, bonus packs for an additional $15 each for you to get more out of your gameplay experience, to get more yarn, to get more puzzles. Yeah, that about tracks, doesn't it? This game is so insanely greedy, and it has no intention of hiding that whatsoever. And that is extremely concerning. I'm never going to pay this. I'm never buying any of these things. However, I'm sure that there are people out there that definitely enjoy puzzle games enough to an extent where they will want to satisfy that craving and just get the $10 minimum just so they can continue playing. And that's one of those things that scares me because, again, like I've said a million times in the past, the more successful mobile titles like this are, the less likely they are to be incentivized to fund actual proper spin-off titles. Or at the very least, fun mobile titles that actively have you playing a genuine game. Like, come on. At least with something like Pokemon Masters EX, I could be playing that for hours on end and actually have a good time with it if I really, really wanted to dive into that. Yeah, it's a little costly if you really want to get the stuff that you want out of it, but you know what? It's still a real-ass game at the end of the day. This right here, this is pure evil. Like, comically evil. Call me overdramatic all you want, but this is just one of those prime examples of what people have been talking about for years about Pokemon just kind of getting away with whatever they want because enough people will always feed into it. And if enough people feed into this, yeah, that's dastardly. This is just demonic work. I can't front. This has to be in like the top 3 of most low effort games Pokemon has put out by now, right? I feel like even the Magikarp Jump game had a little bit more to offer than this. This is just degrading. Even when they had Utsunomiya talking about it, he gave like a super weak explanation and it was very dry, talking about some eureka moments that you'll always have every day. That was the least convincing. I was like, what are we talking about? I don't know, at this point, I feel like even they weren't convinced this wasn't gonna go crazy off the wall like that, but you know what? Points for trying, I get. Not really, because this is so low effort. I don't know, it just makes me a little upset, I'll be honest. This isn't even the most upsetting part about the Pokemon Presents in regards to spin-offs for me. These demons had the audacity to bait the hell out of me, utilizing the PokePark title. Maybe it's possible that they talked about it before, but I don't recall them ever bringing up PokePark Kanto at all in any prior presents or any major announcements that stuck out to me. So I had absolutely no clue what they were talking about when they said that, and when I saw what it actually was, I was irritated. Because what do you mean the PokePark title is being utilized for an amusement park in Japan that I can't even go to? I don't know, that's such a weird specific thing to talk about with your Western audience because that doesn't really apply to us. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's plenty of travelers out there, even probably amongst you guys, that would be excited to go out to Japan and go to this amusement park and have a good time out there when it's officially open, but, you know, not everybody has the opportunity and finances to do something like that. So I don't know what kind of reaction they were expecting. I mean, it's a cool concept, but I mean, that's all it is. It's kind of a neat concept. But I was half asleep. I was baited super bad because I had no idea what this was, and I've been waiting on another PokePark title for decades, only to find out that this is what the PokePark title is being utilized for now, and it seems very unlikely that PokePark in of itself as a franchise, or a series rather, will ever come back, and that is just heart-wrenching. Genuinely heartbreaking. For them, I could definitely imagine a situation in which they don't want their fan base to get confused, so they definitely just opted to utilize the PokePark title for this amusement park solely, and that's why we haven't seen hide nor hair of a potential PokePark returning. At the very least, I would love some ports of 1 and 2 so we could have access to them, but I guess that's probably not even in the cards right now. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I mean, we do have Coliseum and XD on the way, so maybe when we get Wii games on NSO for Switch 2, maybe we could see that. But as of right now, I have much less hope for it than I ever did before, and that is so sad. This was seemingly, for me personally, nothing short of just genuine rage bait. I don't have access to this place, can't even go there, can't even experience that right now because I just am not in a place where I can just leave everything and just go do something like that. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, that's wonderful, guys. Thanks. Thanks for that. And then on a much smaller note, why was Pokemon Champions announced that early if we're still not even getting it until next year? I've always been within the camp of don't announce something until it's ready enough to be shown off and not too far away from release. Why is this glorified Pokemon Battle Simulator so far away? What's up with that? It does seem like there is a little bit of good news about it. Apparently it is like a purchase one time, and then there's in-game currency that you can utilize to rent Pokemon or do other things, and that's cool, that's dandy. This doesn't seem like it would take nearly as much effort as like a full-fledged title, so why did we announce it this early, and why are we holding off until next year? I mean, granted, again, I understand that this is the 30th anniversary next year, but at the same time, seems like prime time to take advantage of the 1.5-year gap of absolutely nothing with Pokemon, right? Y'all really like to fill gaps, and this time you really didn't want to for some reason? I mean, we could have been playing this for the last couple months and then inevitably have updates in which we could port over all the new megas and stuff like that from Legends EA, and then inevitably whatever fun, cool little updates they would give us for the 30th anniversary, but I guess we'll just wait for then. I don't know. And according to a couple of leaks and rumors, allegedly the game is supposed to come out in January, which would be a month before the 30th anniversary Pokemon Presents, which is kind of crazy, but go off, I guess. Overall, I guess I just find it kind of strange how they're handling mobile titles and spin-offs lately, and it's a little concerning for the future because there was a point in time where mobile titles and spin-offs were used as holdovers before we got our major titles so that we had something to enjoy and chew on before we eventually got those. Pokemon Friends is simply another example of Pokemon Company being extremely greedy and unnecessary in trying to gouge us out of as much money as they can possibly get, and Pokemon Champions is coming out well after Legends EA, so I don't know, I just think that's kind of strange. In the end though, it's probably a little too early to be miffed about this stuff, right? I mean, granted, I think it's still justified to be annoyed at the fact that they told us 2 months in advance about a Pokemon Presents, only to announce almost nothing major outside of the trailer for Legends EA, which again, in of itself, was just more information on stuff that could have been cool if it were still hidden away, I don't know. But we still have Legends EA to look forward to. It looks really good in my personal opinion. Champions is at least probably going to get a little bit more development time, and it'll be ready by next year, hopefully, and it looks a lot better than it does now. And we do have a major anniversary year where they could still very much announce actual genuine spin-off titles, like the next Mystery Dungeon if they're doing any more remakes for that, or anything along those lines, because we need something in the realm of a genuine spin-off title now, because I grow more and more concerned by the day. Like, you're really gonna sit here and tell me that within these last 2 years we couldn't have had a situation in which another third-party company could have developed something for us to play while we wait for Legends EA? Really? What a time. Anyway, that just about does it from me though, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over in your direction, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that what we got in this most recent Pokemon Presents wasn't what you anticipated, and it's kind of a little more lackluster, and you know, you also are maybe within the same wavelength and you're kind of concerned for the future of mobile titles and actual spin-off games because of stuff like this? Or am I being completely dramatic? I just need to wait for next year and there's really nothing to even consider or really think about because it's not that big of a deal. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, yes sir, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and do exactly that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.